Biography of Prince Charles. Chapter 1. Birth and Early Childhood. Charles Philip Arthur. George was born on November 14, 1948, at Buckingham Palace in London. As the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, he was the heir to the British throne from birth. His arrival was a historic moment, as he was the first direct heir born in over a century. Despite being born into royalty, Charles had a lonely childhood. His parents were often away on royal tours, and he spent much of his early years in the care of nannies and tutors. He was a sensitive and introspective child, struggling to meet the expectations placed on him. His father, a strict naval officer, often found him too reserved, while his mother, though loving, prioritized duty over warmth. At age 8, Charles was sent to Cheam School, a traditional British boarding school. In 1955, his mother became queen, making his future as king even more certain. But the problem was that his childhood was filled with pressure, shaping him into the thoughtful yet conflicted man he would become. Chapter 2. Education and Struggles. In 1962, Charles was sent to Gordonstoun, a rigorous Scottish boarding school where his father had studied. The school's harsh environment, with cold showers and outdoor challenges, was difficult for Charles. He was not athletic and preferred art, music and history over physical activities, making him feel out of place. Despite the hardships, Gordonstoun helped him develop resilience. He became head boy in his final year and later described the experience as character building. After graduating, he spent time in Australia at Timbertop, a remote school where he gained independence and confidence. In 1967, he enrolled at Trinity College, Cambridge, becoming the first British heir to earn a university degree. He studied archaeology, anthropology, and history, thriving in the academic environment. During this time, he also trained as a pilot and took on more royal duties, preparing for his future role. Chapter 3. The Prince of Wales. At 20, Charles was officially invested as the Prince of Wales in a grand ceremony at Caernarfon Castle in 1969. He took the role seriously, studying Welsh history and language before his investiture. The event, watched by millions, symbolized his growing responsibility within the monarchy. As Prince of Wales, he dedicated himself to public service, focusing on youth programs, environmental issues, and architecture. In 1976, he founded the Prince's Trust, which supported young people in business and education. His passion for conservation also emerged, as he spoke out about climate change long before it became a global concern. However, his personal life remained under constant scrutiny. As an heir to the throne, he was expected to marry and produce an heir, but his romantic life was complicated. He had several relationships, but none seemed suitable for a future queen in the eyes of the royal family. Chapter 4. Marriage to Diana. In 1980, Charles began courting Lady Diana Spencer, a 19-year-old aristocrat. She was young, beautiful, and beloved by the public. In 1981, he proposed, and their wedding at St. Paul's Cathedral on July 29, 1981, became a global event, watched by 750 million people. Despite the fairy tale wedding, their marriage was troubled from the start. Charles was still in love with Camilla Parker Bowles, a woman he had dated in the 1970s but was deemed unsuitable for marriage. Diana, feeling isolated and overwhelmed by royal life, struggled with depression and bulimia. Their relationship grew distant, and by the late 1980s, Both were involved in affairs. Diana's growing popularity and her willingness to speak openly about their issues created tensions within the royal family. Their separation in 1992 and eventual divorce in 1996 were highly publicized, marking a painful chapter in Charles's life. Chapter 5. Tragedy and Public Backlash. On August 31, 1997, Diana died in a car crash in Paris. The world mourned her loss, and public anger toward Charles and the royal family intensified. Many blamed him for her unhappiness, and his reputation suffered greatly. Charles was deeply affected by Diana's death, particularly as he had to comfort their sons, William and Harry. He worked hard to protect them from the media while continuing his royal duties. Over time, he regained public trust through his charity work and dedication to his sons. Despite the criticism, Charles remained focused on his passions, especially environmental advocacy. He promoted sustainable farming, organic food, and climate change awareness, often clashing with politicians who dismissed his views. Chapter 6. Love and Second Marriage. Though Charles had loved Camilla Parker Bowles for decades, their relationship remained controversial. After years of careful public relations efforts, they married on April 9, 2005, in a civil ceremony at Windsor Guildhall. Camilla became the Duchess of Cornwall, though many still saw Diana as the rightful queen. The marriage helped Charles find personal happiness. Camilla supported his work and helped soften his public image. Over time, the British public grew more accepting of her, and she became a valued member of the royal family. With Camilla by his side, Charles continued his royal duties with renewed confidence. He focused on international diplomacy, meeting world leaders and advocating for environmental reforms. His influence within the monarchy grew as he prepared for his eventual role as king. Chapter 7. Preparing for the Throne. As Queen Elizabeth II aged, Charles took on more responsibilities. He represented her at state functions, traveled on behalf of the monarchy, and handled delicate political matters. However, he faced challenges, including criticism over his outspoken nature. Unlike his mother, who remained politically neutral, Charles voiced strong opinions on climate change, architecture, and social issues. Some believe this threatened the monarchy's impartiality, but others saw him as a modern, engaged leader. His relationship with his sons also faced difficulties, especially after Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped back from royal duties in 2020. Their public criticisms of the royal family put Charles in a difficult position as he tried to balance tradition with modern family dynamics. Chapter 8. Becoming King. On September 8, 2022, Queen Elizabeth II passed away, and Charles became King Charles III. At 73, he was the oldest heir to ascend the throne in British history. His accession marked a new era, as the world watched how he would lead the monarchy. His first speech as king emphasized continuity, duty, and his lifelong commitment to service. He also confirmed that Camilla would be known as Queen Consort, solidifying her place in the monarchy. Though many had once doubted his ability to rule, Charles stepped into his role with confidence. He embraced both tradition and modernization, ensuring the monarchy adapted to changing times while preserving its core values. Chapter 9. Challenges as King. As king, Charles faced significant challenges. The future of the monarchy was uncertain, with debates about its relevance in modern Britain. Some Commonwealth nations even considered breaking away, questioning their ties to the British crown. Domestically, he had to navigate political tensions, economic struggles, and growing calls for reform. His past activism on climate change became a central part of his reign, as he urged global leaders to take action. Despite these challenges, Charles remained committed to his role. He worked to strengthen public trust in the monarchy, supporting charitable causes and promoting unity within the royal family. His leadership was tested, but he remained steadfast. Chapter 10. The Legacy of King Charles III. As Charles continued his reign, his legacy took shape. His efforts to modernize the monarchy, promote sustainability, and preserve British traditions defined his leadership. His relationship with William and Harry remained complicated, but he focused on preparing William for his future as king. He also worked to ensure a smooth transition when the time came for the next generation to lead. Though his path to the throne was long and filled with challenges, Charles proved his resilience. His reign was a testament to perseverance, duty, and the ever-evolving nature of the British monarchy. The world watched as he shaped its future, leaving behind a legacy that would be remembered for generations.